I'm a financial analyst. I understand compound interest, various accounting principles, budgets, all of these things. I also dropped over $1,000 back when I played Genshin Impact. You know, a few $100s on some random Roblox game. If you've ever had the feeling where you know what to do and what not to do with your money, but yet you still can't help yourself to these things, then stick around. The average gamer spent $147 on microtransactions last year. That is up from $132 from the year before. If you're in North America, that number jumps up to $325 in microtransactions. Just microtransactions, not the cost of the game or anything else. Especially mobile gaming alone, right? Just gaming on your phone generated $80.9 billion in in-app purchase revenue. Billion with a B. In Japan, nearly 1 in 5 adults say that their microtransaction spending and impulses are literally messing with their ability to pay rent. Like, for their apartment, like actual rent. I already know what some of the comments are going to say, like, you know, just stop spending, bro, or skill issue, or, you know, whatever it is people are saying nowadays. Like, yeah, okay. That's like telling the hard-stuck silver Garen OTP to just stop sprinting it down mid lane. Like, you know, that's not helpful to anybody. Spending is not the boss fight here. It's a symptom and it's a mechanic, and nobody's talking about the actual fight itself. Alright, so let me cook for a second, because this is where I think everything should click. When you open a loot box, it doesn't just give you the dopamine when you press open or anything like that. It gives you the dopamine in the entire time that you are opening the loot box. This includes the anticipation of the reward. The animation plays, the colors start glowing, you start seeing sevens, and this is all giving you dopamine. Not just the initial, not just during, not just the end, throughout the entire process. You see that gold shimmer specifically, you know, you just unbox a knife in CS2, or you just got your new 5-star character on whatever mobile gacha game you're playing. You see that gold shimmer, that slight clue that you just got something rare, your brain just starts shaking. It just starts seizing. That is what's called a variable reward schedule. The same mechanic that slot machines use. You don't know when the reward is coming, so your brain says, you know, to lock in, and it's pumping dopamine throughout your entire body, and it's going, okay, maybe this time, maybe this time, maybe this time, throughout the whole process. This is why gacha games are literally dopamine speedruns. The pull animation designed to pump juice throughout your reward circuit. The rarity tier colors, the greens, the blues, the purples, the golds, designed to juice your reward circuit. The pity system that makes you think I'm so close, like I can't just stop now, designed to juice your reward circuit. These aren't accidents. Game designers have neuroscience degrees, and they are using them to bend you and your wallet over. That exact same dopamine system that I just described, the one that fires when you get that new 5-star character or when you unbox a knife in CS2, it's the same one that fires when you see Black Friday deals on Amazon or Cyber Monday, or somebody just marked, Hello Kitty butt plug for 99% off. It's the same mechanisms that are firing. It may not feel the same, but it still is. When you click add to cart at 2 a.m., when you impulse buy something that you definitely don't need because you just said, you know, I deserve this, king, or you deserve this, king. It's the same neural pathways. It's the same reward circuit, the same reward system, the same dopamine receptors, the same everything. It's the same, just one more loop that you're living in over and over again. And, you know, you can't tell the difference. Your brain literally cannot tell the difference between, you know, a legendary skin drop and a Prime Day deal. Your dopamine system, they're the same event. It's the same boss fight, and you're fighting it in 2 different arenas, essentially. Researchers have found 7 psychological mechanisms that show up identically in problematic gaming and problematic spending. 7 whole debuffs running at the same time. You have dopamine seeking, you have instant gratification, you have impulse control problems, you have executive dysfunction, emotional dysregulation, escape coping, and shame cycles, right? These are all 7 debuffs that are, bleeding you out over the course of the boss fight, essentially. So I need to talk about something that's going to make this whole thing feel different for some of you out there. And I want to be clear up front. I am not a doctor. I am not diagnosing or providing medical advice to anybody. But I have ADHD. I have been diagnosed with it. I am pretty sure that I have ADHD, and I've seen lots of videos on it, and I'm not formally diagnosed. It's still new, not the point. Understanding ADHD and how that has been affecting my life has absolutely changed how I understand everything about my relationship with, both games and money. So let me give you the speedrun version of it. ADHD brains have a lower base level of dopamine. Think of your dopamine like a resource bar. Neurotypical or normal people operate at like a baseline floor of, let's say, 60%. People with ADHD brains like myself, we're starting at 30. The floor is much lower. This means that our brain is constantly trying to dopamine max and find any single way to receive some kind of dopamine, and it never turns off. We're constantly trying to find pleasure or interest or anything that helps us, get through the motion. It's always scanning for the next interesting thing. New game, dopamine. A new skin just dropped for Ari, dopamine. Loot box opening, fucking Gambit Doppler, dopamine. Huge dopamine spikes all around, constantly looking for them. This is literally why you can hyper-focus on Elden Ring for 8 hours straight, but the moment you have to do any homework, the moment you have to do literally anything else, you can't concentrate for more than 6 minutes. Like, trust me, I know that situation all too well. It's not a discipline issue. Trust me, I've shamed myself a lot for thinking it's a discipline issue. It's not. It's a dopamine allocation issue. Your brain isn't broken. You just need to flash it with a new firmware. 65% of people with ADHD say that it makes managing their money harder. And the average ADHD tax, which is the total amount of late fees, impulse buys, forgotten subscriptions, things like that you are very susceptible to do or forget with ADHD, that's over $2,000 gone every single year. And most people paying it have never even added it up because it comes across as these tiny transactions, these tiny late fees that, in the moment you think, oh, that, fuck that means nothing. Here's the key line, and this is what I want, stapled on the forehead of this channel. The same brain that can't stop spending also can't stop playing. They're not separate problems. It's the same problem. This is why I wanted to make this channel. There is a connection between all three. Why is nobody connecting these dots? Well, I'll tell you. Finance creators don't really game. They're too busy watching the stock market go down and up and, whatever it is that they do. The dude in a suit telling you to max out your Roth IRA, he's not rage queuing in League of Legends. He's not staying up until 3 a.m. because he's lost 5 games in a row. He's not FOMO buying loot boxes because the new rotation is about to come in and you're about to lose your chance on the new skin or whatever. They don't know what that feels like. Gaming creators, they understand, they have the culture, but they're not about to break down the neuroscience of why they can get so many recordings out because they're hyper focusing on a game or whatever it is. They're also not going to break down the science between why loot boxes are so addicting or all these microtransactions. They're not going to do that. They're going to focus on the funny moment. That's not their lane. So, respect to them. You can't fault them for that. That's outside of their scope, essentially. And psychology channels like Dr. K, Healthy Gamer GG, my GOAT, I've watched for many years. I love the guy. He covers the mental health side of gaming insanely well, but personal finance and how that ties into everything, not really. So you've got millions of people, I would like to hope, that come watch my channel. You've got these millions of people that are stuck between these three worlds of mind, money, and games, and they never talk to each other. They never interact, they never connect, and they don't intersect. Nobody's standing at the intersection saying, hey, these are all literally the same thing. And I want to emphasize, that's what this channel is. That's what I am hoping to do. I'm a financial analyst with ADHD who plays a shit ton of video games. That's the trifecta that nobody else is running. You know, that's my build, and I'm about to use it. And I need to say this really quick because I know this has come up in like some of the research that I've been doing. I'm not telling you to go touch grass. I'm not telling you to put down the video games to do any of that. That's not what I'm saying. Gaming is incredible. It's giving me so many opportunities to connect with people, to have fun, to escape from the real world. I'm not at all telling you to do that. But certain patterns within gaming, you know, patterns that game designers intentionally put there to be the most predatory and profitable, those can bleed into how you handle money and other aspects of your life. Variable reward schedules, FOMO mechanics, artificial scarcity, it's only $5 trap, it's not that expensive. These aren't bugs, they're features. And these are features that are intentionally put into these platforms and these games to siphon the most amount of money out of you. Understanding this doesn't mean quitting games. It doesn't mean that, you know, you have to stop doing these things because, you know, you're very susceptible to them. It means you stop being an NPC in your own financial life. You know, let's be honest, you're still gonna game, but at least someone like me hopefully can give you the strategy guide to hopefully not be prey to these predatory tactics. I want to say what's coming on this channel. I'm about to break down my own ADHD tax, the exact dollar amount that I've spent on, you know, late fees, impulse purchases, microtransactions, all the stuff that I mentioned earlier. And honestly, it's painful. I don't like looking at it or thinking about it. But we're going to put a loot box opening next to Amazon checkout page and show you how and why they run the exact same psychology tactics. And I'm going to explain why every budgeting app that you've ever tried has failed. Not because of them or because of you, but because of your relationship with money and your emotion. We're going to talk about the shame spiral, the death loop that keeps you spending gaming to the point where it's not even fun anymore, and feeling like you're broken. This one I know all too well. Trust me, I know shame. But before all of that, I want to hear from you. I want whoever's watching this to drop a comment. Out of the 7 things that I mentioned earlier, what pattern do you recognize in yourself? It's, whatever it is about gaming or money or emotions that you've never told anybody, because I promise you, you are not the only one. I am one person right here to be in addition to you. The research literally confirms all of this, and you are not an anomaly. I am not an anomaly. We are experiencing the same things. You're running on default settings and nobody has taught you how to change. So if this hit for you, hit subscribe and the like button and share it with someone who you think needs it. And I'll see you in the next one. Peace.